Why, hello everyone. Hopefully the video is working okay. I thought I'd do something a little bit different today where I'm not going to do anything but maybe just read the chat and talk to you guys. Just going to fix my thing here because it looks like my monitor is on. So I do want to turn that off. Let's see here. There's always something sneaky going on around here, you know? Let's go to here. There. Now, can you guys hear okay? Hey, what's going on, Gary? Jeff? Is everything coming through okay, or is there any echoes? I want to make sure there's no echoes on the recording.
Gary? Jeff?
Oh, it's my... This is where the echo's coming from, my phone. How about we turn off that volume there? There we go. Wow. See how quickly that solved the problem. Zero Hero, what's going on? So I figured today I'm trying to start some more live streaming, do things a little bit, you know, like other guys do here, and reach out to the community, talk to you guys directly, get my camera in a better spot here. So, you know, I'm still learning when it comes to live streaming. But Jesse, a cool hat. Thank you very much. I like my Donkey Kong hat. Got this over at Target. They have some good stuff. You know, if you go into Target, in the gaming section, sometimes they have some really cool things in there. Not always the cheapest. You know, Target's not a Walmart or anything like that, but they have some cool stuff, and that's why I got this hat on there. What's going on? It's snowing once again. I was going to play some games, but I figured, you know what? Tonight, I'm not going to play any games. I don't get a chance to actually talk to you guys directly. We do it a little bit on the Retro Buzz tomorrow night, but I thought I'd reach out to some of you guys, see if you had any questions, you wanted to talk about anything in particular for a little bit. And then we'll call it a night. See how it goes. So what's going on in here? Let's see. Is there still an echo going on now? I did have an echo from my cell phone a minute ago. I think I turned that off, and it's working okay. Yeah, well, I do a live stream on Friday with the Retro Buzz. So I can't go up against myself and P-Dubs and Ralph and everyone else. So I'm going to try to do something during the week. I'm not sure if Thursday will be the day. It might really be a Tuesday or a Wednesday thing. But I didn't get to it till tonight. So we'll see how it goes. Good. The echo's gone. Yeah, it was my cell phone. I kept hearing the thing talking. Where's it coming from? My computer doesn't do it. But, cell phones can cause an echo as well. So we'll put that over here so I can see your guys' chats. So just see how things are going. Guess I'll talk about a couple of things I have going on right now. We're still working on the version 3 trackball. I wasn't particularly happy with how it was working, so that's been delayed a little bit. I don't want to release anything to you guys that's not working okay. But we are moving forward with like our Disc of Tron spinner. That's going fairly well. The 8-direction, 12-rotation joystick is going okay as well. What do I think about the new Arcade 1-Up announcements? Well, there's a couple I like. I definitely want to get the Pong. I think that Pong with Warlords on it would be pretty cool. I'm not too big on some of the newer games they're announcing. I do like that Tempest cabinet as well. Just because I think that Arcade 1-Up should definitely now concentrate on not only the artwork, but making the cabinets look like they did on the original machine. Because, as you guys know, there's a lot of competition now. You got At Games. You have also the II Arcade. You have the MVSX. And then you have ones people build on their own. So if you're going to stand out there, you have to have not only a good product, not only good games on it, but you have to have that cabinet look. And since Arcade 1-Up is that experience with, I know I owe Zhang some money for saying that, with getting a machine that looks the part with the graphics, you're going to have to get the cabinets to match that up as well. And I think they're going to start doing that. The Tempest is definitely the first one in that genre. It looks really, really good. So hopefully they'll continue along those lines with that. Let me see what's going on here. Whoops. Sorry for leaking my spreadsheet. You know what, Jeff? That's okay. The MCP got into my machine and took out the information out of there. So there's some things on there, that we're looking well into 2022. Some new controllers coming out and possibly even a gaming console. We're hoping in 2022. But it really depends. I don't want to say I'm like Elon Musk. Maybe I'm taking on too many things at once. But we want to try and get things out there. See what you guys want. And again, if there's a controller, I know people want a trackball for the Golden Tee and the Legends Ultimate, and we are working on it. We're just a very small team. It's only me and a couple other people who actually work in the arcade industry. The two people I work with, the two engineers I work with, are actually in the field of arcades. And actually, I can guarantee, if you've played an arcade game or any of these home consoles, you've definitely used controllers that these guys have made. So these are not small-time guys. These are guys who are very well entrenched in the industry for making machines. Sega, Nintendo, and so forth. A lot of big companies use the people I'm dealing with here. So the engineering and the quality is going to come out there, but sometimes not always right. And like I said, with the version 3 trackball, when I got my hands on my first production unit, I wasn't happy with it. And I told my team, I said, listen, I'm not going to, I know we announced it, but I'm not going to go further because there's some things I don't like about it. I need to have it addressed. And they're working on fixing that right now. Being someone who enjoys games like I do, I suck at them for the most part. I'm not young anymore. But when I do play a game, and I got to keep, John is so good. It's like Verizon with, can you hear me now? The experience I want you guys to have is a good one. And if you get a little disappointed because things are late and delayed, I'd rather have that than you get a controller and be disappointed with the quality, how it works in the game. So I'd rather do it right the first time and then have everyone happy versus release it and have to fix it and, backtrack it. I just rather do it that way. My collection is great. Thank you. I also, Glen's Retro Show has been doing a lot of gaming stuff, but I was hoping to do a lot more than that. You can see back here, I have some collectibles here. I got some Star Trek, Space 1999, Star Wars, and some other things as well that I want to touch on a little bit. Now, old TV shows. I mean, a lot of you guys are probably around my age. You remember things like, the $6 Million Man, the old Star Trek, Space 1999, Battlestar Galactica, Airwolf, Knight Rider, shows like that. I want to also talk about those things as well, because that's really what my channel is all about. It's really retro overall. It was never really meant to be strictly gaming, but I do like gaming, and I'm kind of making some controllers for it, so that kind of just steamrolled into it. But I'm hoping to expand it out a little bit. I'm also hoping to do a lot more of these live streams versus just videos. And the plan is to augment, the retro buzz and get some people from the community who make things as well for the community. There's people who make products besides myself out there that I would like to get the word out for them. People make stuff for the ColecoVision, the Vectrex, the Sega Genesis, even like I have what's called the Milton Bradley Microvision, which was the first handheld with a interchangeable cartridge. But they're notorious for the screens going bad. The LCD basically leaks out of it, and it just doesn't work. The machine's fine. You can't see what's going on in the display. And just recently, a gentleman finally came to the table and made not only a replacement screen, but also as an optional light-up screen. Now, unfortunately, I was watching it every day. I was hawking this thing every day. And then Christmas kind of came around, and I didn't look. And he released the first batch, and I totally missed it. But if you want to see it, Willie over at Arcade USA did put ones in his. And I have like 3 of them, so I need to get a couple of those screens. I'll do a video and review on that. But I'd like to have him on here to talk about it as well, because these are the people who are going to be keeping your game consoles working well after these companies are gone and they don't support the machines anymore. There are things with emulators, which we all know. We all get the ROMs for the emulators, which is great. And then there's the Mister, which is doing a fully programmable gate array, which is a hardware level emulation. And it's really, I shouldn't use emulation. It's hardware recreation. But again, it still is not the original hardware. FPGA is as close you're going to get to, and they can mimic it very well, but it's still never going to be the real machine. So we need to keep those real machines going as long as possible. And that's what people I want to have on the show are going to be doing. People making things along those lines to keep our classic machines working. And also people making some new games. People are doing that as well. Yes, okay, the Tron joystick. Okay, I know that's been out of stock for a long time, but here's the reason why. Up until now, you had to buy the original kit. And then if you had an arcade machine or you had the At Games Legends Ultimate, you had to buy a separate kit. So you had to spend money on the first kit, spend money on the second kit. And then if you bought those 2 kits, At Games changed their machine again, and the interface was totally different. So that required another one. So we are basically making a single kit. Okay, the original Tron kit is no longer in production. The upgrade kit's no longer in production. So wax on, wax off. No more, no more. The kit we're going to be releasing, it's actually, it's only delayed a little bit. We have some product that did get out and should be going to Amazon very shortly, but the Chinese New Year is going on, so a lot of it's been delayed. But the new kit will work in your Arcade 1-Up. It'll work in your At Games Legends version 1, your At Games Legends version 2, and your own project. It'll be a single kit, so one purchase versus 2 separate purchases, okay? So that's what's going on with that. We're trying to always make things better, but unfortunately, these companies, as much as I ask them, they make hardware revisions, they make changes, and our stuff's not ready to work with it. And then some people are better than others at getting me that information. Like I know the countercades with the Arcade 1-Up, I've been trying to get information on that spinner for quite some time, but unfortunately, I still haven't gotten any information on the spinner and what's going on with why my spinner is not working with only that product. The countercade trackball will work if you just set it in the regular mode. There's 2 modes on the trackball. There's the Arcade 1-Up mode and a regular mode. So before, you had to put it in the Arcade 1-Up mode, which had a 8 microsecond delay, and their countercade did away with it. So just have to set my trackball to the regular mode, not with the delay, and it'll work. But so far, that doesn't seem to be the case with the spinner, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with that. Hey, Hollywood, how you doing, buddy? My last weekend was excellent. Had a wonderful, fantastic weekend. Can't say everything went on that weekend, but it was a very good weekend. This weekend, I have a lot of things going on as well. It's going to be quite busy, unfortunately. A lot of work. The job still has to pay the bills, so I have some things I got to take care of for the job. But we'll see how that goes. The Rexer Show. Hey, man, what's going on, buddy? Now, if you guys, I'm sure you guys already know who the Rexer Show, but if you do not, you definitely have to subscribe to the Rexer Show. In fact, Negan is very excited. He's going to be on the Rexer Show this Friday. He's doing a contest there. And unfortunately, I was not good enough to get on the show, but Negan did. So I'm sure he's going to rub in that he's there, and I did not make the show. So definitely catch him out. It'll be this Sunday at 9 p.m., the Rexer Show. You guys have to check it out. It's going to be a great show. He always puts on a good show. What do we else have we going on here? Yep, Sunday at 9 p.m. for the Rexer Show. And again, you have to subscribe to the Rexer. This guy puts on a fantastic show. He puts a lot of work, unlike myself, who I basically piecemeal stuff together, as you can see. But Rexer puts a lot of time and detail into his episodes, and he's definitely worth your time subscribing and liking to his show. What else we got? Steering wheel. Yes. Okay. So the steering wheel. I was going to do a video on it, but I'm deciding now to not do videos until it's at Amazon. Because all I'm going to do is I'm going to dangle that carrot in front of you guys until it gets to Amazon. So we do have a steering wheel that is currently compatible with the Glen's Retro Show version 1, version 2 spinner, and the USB spinner. It's really just a metal steering wheel that'll clip on to those spinners. Now, in addition to that, we are working on an actual steering wheel, gear shifter, and pedals. But for now, we're just making this really nice steering wheel. It's awesome quality these guys made out of it. I'm hoping to add more things to that even in the future. Maybe make that steering wheel down the road Bluetooth compatible with some controllers on the steering wheel. So you can still put it on the spinner and you can connect via Bluetooth for the other options. Again, it'll be mostly for your own projects unless Arcade 1-Up and At Games works us a little bit to add these features to their machines. At Games has been very responsive with adding that to their machine. And Arcade 1-Up has been as well. They've been very supportive of it. But there's other things coming down I can't talk about yet because I do have some NDAs with some companies. But when it comes out, it'll be very exciting. I'll leave it at that for some of those other things there. Let's see what do we have going on over here. Oh, yeah. Okay, Jeff. So Jeff was asking about how my coworkers are doing because again, Scott over at Arcade 1-Up and the Arcade 1-Up team were extremely generous, and they sent my team Arcade 1-Up machines, and that was first of all fantastic that it did. I kept telling Scott not to, but he insisted. He goes, "You guys are working very hard during the pandemic," and he said he wanted to do something. And again, Scott is a very generous person. I really do think Scott is genuine and honest in everything that he says. I'm not just saying that because he sent me these machines. I've talked to Scott quite a bit, and I really do feel like Scott has a huge heart. And he sent these machines out, and the guys are really loving them. They're having a lot of fun with them. Some of these guys had no idea what they were. I mean, a couple of them got them. And they stared. I'm like, what is this? I don't know what this is. So they end up getting the lion, or the lion's share, I guess, the shallow end of the pool, because all the kids, the younger guys, picked up the Street Fighters and the Mortal Kombats and all the big ones. And Golden Tee was left, and my friend Ross, one of my guys here, has been having a blast with the Golden Tee. And they're already told me, and for Arcade 1-Up, if any of you guys are listening out there, every one of them have already said now they have a bug, and they're going to buy more. So that's kind of what happens with these machines, You may not even be interested in them at all, but then you get one, and you get that little fish hook in your mouth, and before you know it, it's like I don't want to say you drug and crack, but that's kind of what they're like. And you have to get another one, and you have to get another one. And before you know it, right now, I gave 2 away. I gave one to my friend Mary Parker, who moved down to Florida. I turned an asteroid machine into a Mario Brothers arcade, because that was her favorite game. So she took that one. So I'm down that one. And also, Richie Knuckles actually came to my house, and we talked for a little bit. And he's a big Space Invaders guy, and I had 2 Space Invaders, so I donated one to Richie Knuckles. But even outside of that, I still have 18 of these machines in my house, and you always have to make room for more, because I do want to get the Pong unit. I really want to get that one, and you never know what they'll come out with in the future. I personally would like to see some of the older games still coming in. There's a lot of games that haven't been touched, like Berserk, Frenzy, Space Fury is another game that I really enjoyed. Scramble, Robotron 2084, Crazy Climber. I know John D has to get the licenses from these companies, but these are pretty old titles. And I'm sure these companies would be more than happy to see their machines come back to life and people start getting buzzed on them again. But I do like the new machines coming out. Like I'm not going to lie, I would like to see a Daytona USA or virtual racing driving game coming out here. But there's still so many classic games that still could come out. And even like Defender. Defender was a fantastic game, but it was on that Rampage cabinet, and it really didn't work. I think they really should have did a Defender cabinet with the controls set up a Defender, and then you could have did a Rampage on top of that. Maybe that'll come back out as a Williams legacy cabinet in the future. But there's still so many games that have not been touched, and they're already going into the 90s and the future. And I really hate for them to miss out on those other ones, because people my age, we do like the newer games like House of Dead. I like to see a House of Dead game, of course. But there's these old games. Rally X is another fun game I would like to see. There's just a lot of Phoenix, another classic game. So there's just a lot. Mappy. Even I'm not sure if Mappy came out on any of the machines. I don't think they did, but if they did, I missed it. But a game like that, I'd love to see as well. What's my favorite VR device? Well, as most people know, I'm a little bit on the cheap side. So I haven't gotten the real VR yet. So I basically picked up the small, like $5, $10 ones you put on your cell phone, and I enjoy it. But I do plan on getting one because that Darth Vader game looked phenomenal. I know they gave it away for a while with the purchase of the unit, but I haven't taken that plunge yet. But you know what? Maybe I will because it does look like fun. I know my friend Wagner over at Wagner's Tech Talk, he's got them, and he was playing that game, and he said he loved it. But as with anything else, with something like VR, I mean, I had a VR unit back in 1992. Okay, it was basically the most horrid device I ever put on my head. I mean, you put it on, and you basically look through these two little peepholes that almost touched your eyeball, and the resolution was very low. But I was playing Dark Forces, Star Wars Dark Forces on it, which was a very good game. But when you play it on that VR, I mean, you did turn your head, it did go around, but it's like you were drugged because it was hard to see anything, and the sides were not. You got a headache immediately. So VR is always going to be improving. So the longer I wait, the price will come down, and the field of view will be better. The tracking will be even better, and hopefully be get some nice girl VR, right? Good thing for everyone out there, I think. Sinistar, yeah. Sinistar is a great game, but man, Sinistar is one hard game. I love that game, but it is one hard game. I don't think I've ever beat and blew up Sinistar. Every time he formed and killed me. But even like Zaxxon, man, I have a Zaxxon machine. Zaxxon is a classic Sega game. That would make a great unit as well. Don't have that, And bring it back even like a 4-player Gauntlet. I mean, people love Gauntlet. These are just games I think they if they're going to bring machines out, arcade run-ups should really still stick with some of the stuff in the early 80s because there's still so many machines in the early 80s that have not been touched before they start really jumping out. Or do one console from each generation. When they come out with their next line of machines, maybe one should be from the 70s, one should be from the 80s, one from the 90s, and then one from the 2000s, versus just bring a bunch out from that era, hit one of each. Or do what John D was saying for a long time he would do. Have them do either a Kickstarter or need like 3,000 people to sign up for one, and they'll make it. Things along those lines I think they really should do. How was my day? Well, my day, you know what? I was actually quite surprised today. A very good friend of mine, Jen, sent me a message that she goes, why didn't you tell me you got a couple of awards at work? I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't get any awards at work. She goes, yes, you did. I said, I did? She goes, yes. She goes, look. So I looked on our company website, and sure enough, for January, apparently I won 4 awards that I had no idea that I had even won for January. So I guess someone at the job likes me because I think you have to vote for someone to do that. And most people got like 1 out of these 4 different categories or 2. I think I'm the only one who got all 4. I've never seen anyone get all 4 before. So I guess I'm doing something okay there. I don't know. So that part of the day was good. Now we got the new hospital going. New hospital is online, which is excellent that we got that going. And, patient care is kind of why I'm there, why all of us work, in the hospital system. We're there for the people. So I'm kind of glad that the new hospital is online, and I have a very good team of guys and ladies. I have guys and women. I shouldn't say just guys, but I'm fortunate. I'm fortunate to have a good team and a good company I work for. I have a lot of great coworkers that make the job better. Because a lot of jobs cannot be super great. But I want to say something else here too. And I don't know if I'm going to start a fire here, but what the hell is Kathleen Kennedy doing over at Lucasfilm? What is she doing? I mean, you already knew I was not a fan of hers to begin with. But seriously, I'm going to have you guys in the chat. What in the hell is Kathleen Kennedy doing at Lucasfilm? I don't understand what she's doing. She is purposely destroying anything that's good and trying to push down our throats her garbage. What in the world is going on at Lucasfilm? I think George is going to have to somehow give them the money back. Give them the money back with interest. I don't care. But she's got to get the hell out of there. She's ruining it. Let's see. Yeah, the NBA Jam. I've been trying to practice on that game. The arcade one up NBA Jam. I'm just not good at sports games, but I am trying. But I mean, people just wipe the floor with me on it. The Final Fight cab. Unfortunately, when I got that one, I did get it at a great price where I can't complain. Wasn't working. I don't know if the person who had it before knew it wasn't working when he sold it, but either the screen was bad or the PCB was bad. So I just converted that one right to a PC. And what I kind of do is if I have an arcade one up like that, I'll make sort of startup sequence. Will play the games that were on the cab. So when you first turn on that machine, it's going to go to Final Fight, 1944, Ghosts and Goblins, and Strider. And then after that, you can pick from other games that you want. But I think that for me, if it's a cabinet that had some games built in it already, I want it to come up to those games first, and then you can go past them if you want to. What's five? What do we got going over here? Let's see. Consider the most iconic. What do I consider the most iconic arcade game and why? Oh God, those questions. I almost feel like being Cool Toy saying, "I'm not going to tell you guys to come up with your own decisions. I'm not going to tell you what the one is." Because there are so many different ones. I mean, it's hard to argue anything away from Donkey Kong and Pac-Man or Space Invaders. Those are just three games that defined a generation, defined the genre. I mean, Space Invaders was really the first game that hit like mega status, like a rock star status. That's the game that everyone took notice. Everyone wanted to play Space Invaders. I don't know if it technically really ran, Japan out of their yen, but everyone was playing Space Invaders. That was the first craze. After that, it was technically, I mean, the Asteroids is kind of in there a little bit, but I still don't think Asteroids from Atari quite hit the same thing that Space Invaders did, or Pac-Man. Pac-Man, again, didn't matter who you were. It was a game anyone could pick up and play, and they did. And there was it was a song, for God's sakes. Pac-Man Fever, Jerry Buckner. It's a game that just still today, like Space Invaders, still today earns money. And of course, Donkey Kong. What drives me crazy about Nintendo is, and it could be a licensing thing. I really don't know. I know that Nintendo doesn't have the full license to the code for Donkey Kong. But Donkey Kong, again, is a game that defined a genre. It launched Mario, although it was called Jumpman. Originally, the game didn't have a name Mario. But still, a ton of. I mean, it's their mascot, for God's sakes. And Donkey Kong is continuing along as well. Yet you can't buy a full scale, a quarter scale, any scale Donkey Kong or Donkey Kong Jr. We don't talk about Donkey Kong 3, okay? Donkey Kong 3 really didn't exist. But Donkey Kong 1 and Donkey Kong Jr. are two games that people would buy. Just like the NES Classics, people can't get enough of those. I guarantee you, people would line up to buy that machine. Unfortunately, the scalpers would be out there again as well. But those are definitely three games that I would argue with anyone as being the three games that define generations, define the genre in the gaming, and put arcades and video games in more of a broad general audience versus Pong or a sports game or only certain people played it. I can even throw Centipede in there because a lot of people say that Centipede or Miss Pac-Man were the ones that really drew in women. But you may not know, I've said this once before in the Retro Buzz, that Pong actually was, and the reason being is that, and I'm not being sexist, so please don't say I'm being sexist. I can be sexist in a lot of things, but I'm not going to be in this, that women generally have finer motor control with their hands. Now, whether it's because guys work with their hands all the time and it's more strength and they lose that smooth motion, but women were hustling men at bars playing Pong and creaming them. So the guy's sitting there, I'll play you Pong, sure. And the woman totally kicks their ass in Pong and took all their money. And not that they wouldn't take the money anyway. It's a bar, for God's sakes. That's what women do at bars, right? But in playing Pong, women were very good at it. So that was actually the first game that women really could trounce guys in. But I think really, Centipede and Miss Pac-Man was just a game that they just liked to play versus maybe hustles for some money. What do we got going over here as well? Super Punch-Out. I did, the arcade Punch-Out was actually excellent, and that probably would also make an excellent cabinet for the home. But again, I don't know why Nintendo did have some of its roots in the arcades. You know, they did license stuff back in the day. I mean, Coleco. I mean, that's the one thing that got me when I saw Arcade One up with their small TV consoles. They had a ColecoVision one, and they were showing Donkey Kong. I lost my mind. I'm like, oh my god, they got the rights for the Coleco Donkey Kong. I'm gonna buy 50 of these things. But then when I talked to John D, he's like, no, it shouldn't have been on there. That Donkey Kong is not going to be on the ColecoVision one, and that sucks because back before Nintendo became this juggernaut that will crush anyone who disagrees with them, which is kind of sad. That's how that they are, even to their own fans. That, you know, Coleco had the license for it, Atari had the license for it, but now you can't get them if you wanted to get them. Like to buy a small little TV set with a little ColecoVision and controls on it. Even the At Games had the flashback Coleco, which was not bad. I mean, they messed up on a couple things with the controllers, but again, they couldn't have the Coleco version of Donkey Kong, which kind of stinks because back in 1982, first of all, that was a packing game. So Coleco was genius to put, you know, Donkey Kong in with their console, and it was only $179, where some consoles were still $199, and it was the best console on the market. And it just sold like crazy with that Donkey Kong in there. But now you can't get it now unless you buy it used on eBay and you get it. But I just don't get Nintendo with that. I mean, it's like they don't want to make money. People will be throwing money at Nintendo for certain products, whether it's by Nintendo or not. And I do understand that Nintendo technically says they're about quality, but trust me, I've seen plenty of NES games and SNES, Super NES games with the Nintendo seal of quality on it that sucked. I mean, I wouldn't put that on my toilet paper, okay? Yet Nintendo put their seal of quality on it. So they can't tell me they're only in it for the best quality of games, because that's not the case. It's always comes down to money and whether Nintendo thinks they can make a lot of money. And right now, Nintendo's really not hurting. I mean, they were hurting for a little while in between, you know, the N64 and the GameCube, because the Nintendo 64 really did not live up to its hype. It was supposed to be, you know, Project Reality, you know, the Killer Instinct arcade game quality at the home, and it was nowhere near that. But I remember distinctly Nintendo lying and saying that's what you were going to get. Not that the N64 was that bad, but once again, they shortchanged a couple things that would increase the texture quality on the machine. A little more memory would have helped with having larger textures, which would stop with that blurriness. I mean, the machine would have done much better, I think, if they put in just 2 more gig of memory in there to have larger textures to make them not look so blurry, because that really hurt it. Outside of that, it was a decent console, but again, going with cartridges over an optical medium, again, was probably not the smartest move at a time when everyone was going that way. It just made Nintendo look still a bit too on the old side. Hey, Unqualified Critics, my friend, how have you been? How you doing? Yeah, the community with the companies like even Microsoft, all these companies are getting quite large, and I don't know. I still think that Nintendo could be a little more lenient with its licensing. What else we got going on over here? Yeah, we already talked about the Tron Stick. The Tron Stick will be at Amazon. It's going to be a single kit now. It's not going to matter what machine you have. It'll be one kit. You don't have to purchase 2 separate kits anymore. That's what was taking so long, because the At Games Legends Ultimate 1.1 wiring harness kind of threw us for a loop. They made that change. We didn't know about it. So we had to send it. We had to do some prototyping, and actually Michael B, the Game Genie, and Detroit Love also got the prototype 1.1 kits, and it looks like that's working. So the kits were being sent to Amazon. Some got out before, you know, the holidays started out in China. So I'm not sure how many made it out the door, but they should arrive at Amazon at any point in time. But the kits will be limited up until the holidays over, and then more kits will be sent up there at that point. What else we got going on here? What screen cleaner do I use on? I'm not going to say just my RK one-ups. I'm pretty much all of these. The first thing you guys have to do is make sure, number one, you get a good, very good, high-quality microfiber cloth. Don't use paper towels. Don't use a regular towel. You're going to have to get yourself a really good quality microfiber cloth. Now, again, no matter what you do or what you use, you're going to make micro scratches on plexiglass. It's just a very soft material. Now, if I have some large scratches on it, and again, I'm going to say use this with caution. There's a product called Novus. It's normally used on fiberglass boats. There's Novus 1, 2, and 3. 3, do not touch that at all to plexiglass. It will just don't use 3. You can use number 2, but again with 2, you got to be very careful, very light. Don't press hard. I don't care if it takes you an hour, 2 hours of wax on, wax off. Number 2 is still abrasive, and you have to go on it very gently. And then you go on with number 1, and number 1 is just really puts that nice coating on there. But you will probably never get all the scratches out because just the microfiber cloth itself, nothing's going to be able to hit plexiglass without scratching it. But if it's a large scratch, if it's a scratch that's really in your face and it's annoying, the Novus number 2 and then going down to number 1, using the microfiber cloth on there will absolutely take away that harshness, take away a large scratch from the plexiglass. But I have to, again, stress, you have to use very soft motions on there. You just think when you'll put more pressure on it to get it out quicker, you might get that one out quicker, but you can make 5 million other small ones in that plexiglass. Outside of that, never use paper towels. Never use a regular towel. The best quality, finest microfiber cloth is going to be your best bet on cleaning and reducing any kind of scratches on there. Sometimes it may come to the point where it's not even worth it. If your screen's really, really good, go out and get yourself a can of compressed air and just blast the plexiglass, and that'll blow dust off of the screen. That's probably the only way to guarantee you're not going to put any new marks on the plexiglass itself. Yeah, I know some people say that they had used Novus and it didn't work or it destroyed something. I've never seen that. You've got to be careful with anything. You've got to be very careful with the pressure you're using and use the right cloth, the right microfiber cloth. I think Novus does a fantastic job. In fact, the majority of people use Novus on their pinball tables, on the actual real pinball tables, because a lot of times it's the only thing that'll get out any type of scratches in that without destroying the table. So just think about that. A Kong off. I reached out to Richie Knuckles. Actually, it's funny you mentioned that, Rex. I reached out to Richie Knuckles, and he still is not sure when the next Kong off is going to be. This thing's still going on. I guess you could open some arcades now, but a Kong off, I think, is going to have a lot of people packed in there. I know that Steven, Doug, and myself are all planning, and we're welcome to go down there and do a show at the Kong off. But as far as I know, it's still up in the air. We're not sure when that's going to happen, but I can't wait to go down there and see Richie again and meet everyone down there in this Kong off. There's a lot of people on there that, if you guys have never seen the King of Kong, you've got to see the King of Kong. I mean, it's a fantastic movie, And again, when you watch it, you got to take everything with a grain of salt, because like any reality show or anything recorded like this, people are made a little bit more eccentric in a way than they probably are in real life. So just don't hate, just watch and enjoy. And I think you'll find it a really entertaining show. Who else we got going on here? Am I picking up any pinballs? Well, you know what? Speaking of that, I have not decided on which one I would pick up at this point on them. To be quite honest, I think just because of the size of the unit and the modding capabilities, it might be the At Games Legends Ultimate pinball. But I'm not holding out, or I'm not going to not possibly get one from Arcade 1-Up. Although, you know how I feel about the Star Wars one. That artwork on one side, on that right side, has got to go. Any of those 7, 8, 9 movies are garbage, trash. If anyone who says otherwise, you're wrong. I'm telling you right now. 7, 8, 9 were the absolute worst things ever made. And I've been in a movie myself to know a bad movie. I was in The Toxic Avenger Part 2 and Part 3, which is, it's funny, but it's the worst movie you could see next to 7, 8, 9, which blow past it by 10 light years. It's horrible. And that's why I don't know what Kathleen Kennedy's doing now. She's firing people from a show that's doing well. And I just don't know what in the heck that woman is doing. I don't know what that woman is doing. Billy Mitchell. You know what? Is he a cheater or isn't he a cheater? That's the going question. I talked to Richie Knuckles and a couple other people and saying everything's blown out of proportion. I don't know. to be quite honest. I don't know Billy Mitchell personally. He did, as you see in the end of all my videos, he did send me a video, which I probably put in my videos. But is he a cheater? I don't know. Again, when you watch The King of Kong, it would definitely give you that impression that he is someone who would definitely cheat to stay on top. And from other people out there, that I guess maybe he rubbed the wrong way, seem to think he is. There's been evidence put out there that he was using MAME, and it was pretty convincing evidence stating so. But I do know he was kicked off the Guinness Book of World Records because of all that. But then there was a lawsuit, and I think he won it. And I think he had to be reinstated in those things. Unless I'm wrong, put down in the chat if I am wrong. But I could have sworn within the past year a lawsuit went through, and he was proven innocent and whatever, and all the stuff was going to be reinstated. I don't know any more than that. What do we got going here? What's my favorite Star Wars movie, Empire or Jedi? Well, you have to remember, I was born in 1969, so when the first Star Wars came out in 1977, I was 8 years old, and it was something that came out that no one had seen before. That movie is almost like it was made in the year 2020, and they sent it back in time to 1977 because the effects and everything was that good. It was phenomenal. So although the older I get, I enjoy Empire Strikes Back more. For me, the first Star Wars, the one that kicked off everything. It kicked off marketing, kicked off toys, kicked off Star Wars for its good and its bad. That's still number one for me, but Empire Strikes Back is, a sliver behind it as I got older. When I was younger, I never liked it as much as the first Star Wars, but I would say the original Star Wars and Empire would be my first two. Jedi is, it's a distant third because I wish he stayed with the original story using the Wookiees and not the Ewoks. I think the Ewoks kind of made it kind of stupid. I could see Wookiees beating the hell out of stormtroopers, ripping their arms out of their sockets and throwing rocks and taking them out. These little bears, I just couldn't buy it. So for me, that kind of ruined it. And I also think, honestly, I think that the visual effects at the end battle also were not as good as the original Star Wars and in Empire. I think that they tried to do too much at the time, and the effects did not work as well. Let's see. Well, I didn't know. Yes, I was absolutely in the Toxic Avenger Part 2 and 3. In fact, I was a radio DJ at the time. I worked for WHUD's sister AM station in Hudson Valley in New York. I was very Italian. My name is Platimento. It was too Italian. So my name had to be changed. So I used Glen Fredericks. My father's name was Frederick. So I became Glen Fredericks. Music from the Terrace, 100.7, WHUD when I was there. And they were looking for extras in a movie. And I actually did go to school. I went to college for broadcasting, radio and television production, acting. So I'm like, damn, I'm going to go do that. So I went down there, and sure enough, I got paid like $1. And in fact, I never got the dollar. They never paid me my dollar. But it was 6 months in New York. We did a lot of filming in Peekskill, New York, and up at Bear Mountain in New York. A lot of filming was done there. And to be honest, a lot of my stuff ended up on the cutting room floor for the actual movie. There's still quite a few scenes of me in the second film and in the third film. But what I found surprising was there was actually a time when on the Sci-Fi Channel where the Toxic Avenger films, the films from the company, were being shown in sci-fi. So they had to take out a lot of the gory stuff, and my stuff, more of my shots got put in there. I was like, oh! So I was taping it anyway, so I have a VHS around the house somewhere with more of my scenes put back in. But there was actually a scene where I was actually killed. I was actually like, camera in my face, killed. That never materialized. But there's a nice close-up of me eating watermelon. So that was kind of good. And another piece of trivia, I was actually also on an episode of the Hollywood Squares. But I wasn't a contestant on the Hollywood Squares. When they were giving away one of their secret gifts, I was holding the computer, walking around and holding this computer. So I was also on the Hollywood Squares. So I'm a TV star of sorts, I guess. I'm not going to shy away from me being a ham. I do like being on the cameras and stuff. So, yep, I did both of those. Oh no, you think the Amico is dead on arrival, huh? I'm going to admit, I was a little intrigued by it, but I really didn't think I'd pick one up. I'm just not a huge fan of downloadable content. I know a lot of people are okay with it. I'm just not. And my biggest thing is now people buying these new machines, They download hundreds of games on their hard drive, and they go to GameStop, trade it in. GameStop's not going to care how many games are on that hard drive. They want, I mean, they're still going to give you 5 cents anyway. Who we kidding? But if you wanted to sell it to your friend or something like that, you can't. So for me, hey, Kong's are us, man. How you doing, buddy? I appreciate you joining. I know you were doing a live stream yourself a little bit ago. But I'm just not a huge fan of downloadable content. I don't care if it's even on a they sell it to you on an SD card with a serial number, as long as it's a physical copy of the game. Like when WrestleMania comes out, me and the Retro Buzz, P Dubs, Michael B, Nostalgia, everyone is in that game. Detroit Love as well is in that game, and a lot of my other YouTubers are in there as well. Cool Toys in there, RGT85. A lot of people are in this game. I absolutely am gonna, unfortunately, buy the downloadable content. But I think it's available for the Nintendo Switch, and I'm hoping that would be on a cartridge. But I want to actually have that game on a cartridge. I don't want to have it just on downloadable content. I want to own that game. And now that's the one thing I'll say about YouTube here is I've met so many great people, and I'm still meeting great people out here. And I'm not talking just about YouTubers themselves. I'm talking about you guys out there. I get messages from you guys all the time, and I'm sorry I can't always respond because literally. My email and my Facebook Messenger it blows up, and sometimes I may not get back to you for like 3 months. Some guy was like 6 months. I'm like, oh my god, I never saw this message. I'm sorry, but I'll always apologize that I didn't see it. But you guys are fantastic. I mean, you guys really are. I mean, some guys beat me up. I mean, we all get beat up, and when you're a YouTuber or you're in the limelight, all of us get beat up a little bit. But it's you guys who then salvage that. If I get a couple people like destroying me for some reason, you guys always say, Glenn, doing a great job. That's the stuff that keeps me going, that keeps all of us going doing this stuff. Because let me tell you something, I ain't making no money on this channel. I ain't making no money with anything. But I do enjoy it, and it's a fun hobby, and I really appreciate all of you guys out there, and of course the fellow YouTubers out there, which is why I always try to tell you guys, game on, enjoy your family. When you're playing these games, hopefully your family is enjoying it with you. My son, he's upstairs right now playing Minecraft. I try and play with him once in a while, but I'm like, I'd rather play Legos because it's really just Legos to me. What do we got going on over here? The Battlestar. Because of my Battlestar Galactica preference. Well, look, full disclosure, I did enjoy the reboot of Battlestar Galactica. I enjoyed it. I watched it every week. I did. For me, though, I personally, again, I was around in 1978 when that came out. So for me, it's like your first love. I enjoyed the first Battlestar Galactica. Was it corny? Yeah, it was corny. They had some really ridiculous things in there a little bit. But like the old Buck Rogers in the 25th century with Gil Gerard, I mean, there's some nice looking women in there. I mean, that's why you're watching that show. Like Knight Rider, you're watching it sometimes for the women. The Buck Rogers storylines were horrible. But the first Battlestar Galactica for me was just like, for me, it was just, I enjoyed it more. That simple. What does get me, though, is when people say that, Battlestar Galactica was a ripoff of Star Wars. And that is a complete lie. The Battlestar Galactica script was out long before George Lucas was even working on the Star Wars script. So full truth be told. Now, it like anything else, scripts change. I'm sure when Star Wars came out, there was a couple of ideas that came over from it. But Battlestar Galactica itself was being thought up long before Star Wars had come out. And it always annoyed me. It really annoyed me when George Lucas sued Universal and Glen A. Larson because they used lasers that shot out of the gun. When Star Wars is a ripoff of Flash Gordon. There's no secret that George Lucas wanted a serial like Flash Gordon, and even his crawl at the beginning that we thought was amazing was from the 1930s Flash Gordon. He stole that. And yet he was suing someone else for using lasers. So if you look at Battlestar Galactica in the pilot episode, there were lasers shooting out, and after that it was just flash, like flash from a camera that came out. So that kind of pissed me off with George. I didn't think he was kind of that chintzy and cheap to pull a shot like that. But in any case, the original series only lasted one season because in 1977, each episode was $1 million or a little over $1 million a piece. And for 1978, when that series aired, was a lot of money. Oh, Rexer, man. Oh, he just sent me a super chat. I got to read a super chat, guys. I got my super chat from the Rexer. Don't spend it all in one place. Great stream. I will spend $1.99 on a Coca-Cola at the vending machine tomorrow. I guarantee you that, Rex. You'll help me get my next kidney stone, man. I appreciate it. But in talking about that, there was a show on TV. It was one of my favorite shows called Space 1999. And that was a show about these Eagle ships and the moon base, and the moon got blasted out of Earth's orbit. And it's known that George Lucas was, I say he was stealing from that show, but I know that the people making the models, the first model of the Millennium Falcon looks so much like an eagle, or the general design of an eagle, that George Lucas had to say, listen, you can't, that's no good. That looks like the Space 99 Eagle. You got to change it. And that's how the Millennium Falcon got changed. And that's where the blockade runner came from. So there's lots of stuff in here that people don't realize that happened back in the day. This is just like video games. You don't know the treachery and what people did beforehand to get where they are. And there's the old saying, it's cutthroat. Sometimes you got to be a bad guy to move up. And me and my friends, I'm just not that way. People want to move up and go on in the thing. It hurts for a little bit, but then you get over it and you move on. And that's what we all should do in life. If someone does you wrong, it's going to tick you off. Let it tick you off a little while. Don't stew on it, though. Just say, you know what? All right. Or whatever. I'm better than that. And move on. And that's not from me. That's the lessons I learned from Doug Cooltoy. And trust me, Cooltoy still has to do this to me sometimes, especially when I hear Kathleen Kennedy, when I want to, explode. Spaceballs. Spaceballs, I really did enjoy that movie. For me, though, Blazing Saddles, which is probably not the most politically correct movie nowadays, but I love that movie. Hawkman. Let's see here. Okay. Hawkman was in Series 2 of Buck Rogers when the show, like Galactica in 1980, was destroyed by the network. Battlestar Galactica in 1978 was still a great show. They cut course. They tried to make it cheap and inexpensive. It came out Galactica in 1980, which I would put almost, not quite, almost up there with episode 7, 8, 9. Galactica in 1980 is like the Christmas special of Star Wars. It was a huge, oh my God. And season 2 with the Hawkman was in series 2 of Buck Rogers, the exact same thing. They just completely destroyed the show. And of course, both got canceled after one season after that. Unqualified critics. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. $5. This is the Glen's Retro Show. You give me 5 cents, man. What am I going to do with $5? Just doing this to Doug on Rex. Great show, my guy. Thanks. And unqualified critics and everyone else. And I apologize. I've reached out a lot. Work has just really been crazy at the hospital. So I'm hoping things will calm down. Oh, and actually, Glen right now is in the chat. He's one of my guys who works for me at New Vance Health. And, I really do apologize to all my friends and to my fellow YouTubers I haven't been able to reach out to and talk with, because we used to do it all the time. It's just right now, work has just been... You would not believe I'm only 24 years old. Would you? This is what work does to you at a hospital system, my friends. You're going to look like this, even though you're only 24. So maybe you don't want to work in healthcare. I don't know. But it's not for my life. It's for other people's lives to help them out. I have not been to Galaxy's Edge. You know what? The last time I've been to Disney with my son Cole 3 times. We were in there, I want to say 2010, 13, and 15. And at that time, it was still Star Tours, the old Star Tours, and I loved it. I'm going to take that back. The last time I was at Disney, Star Tours was changed to Kylo Ren and Rey. And you know what? I hate saying it, but it's a piece of shit. I hate to put that on my channel and say that because I got mark as adult content. But the old Star Tours with Darth Vader and everything they did in there was great. Seeing Kylo Ren up there trying to grab everything, I could care less. I'd go up to Kylo Ren and slap him myself. Kylo Ren is no threatening bad guy. He was basically a worthless, unused character. He could have been. He had a potential to be something good. In episode 7, like, oh, this guy might be something good. But he turned out to be the biggest nothing, just like Rey was the biggest nothing, like those shows were biggest nothing. So to me, Galaxy's Edge is garbage. Originally, it was supposed to be based off of the original trilogy, which would have probably been very, very good, doing, Obi-Wan Kenobi, being on Tatooine and all that stuff would have been good. But Galaxy's Edge, to me, is garbage, as it is right now. Flying the Millennium Falcon might be nice, but that's the only thing that they got. And unfortunately, right now, to me, Disney is close to being dead. The only thing saving me with Disney right now is Marvel and the newer episodes of WandaVision. Episode 1 and 2 of WandaVision, I'm not going to lie, it was horrible. It was torture. I turned it off like 3 times. It was only 25, 30 minutes. It felt like 6 hours watching episode 1 and 2. They were horrible. But then people say, no, you got to get to episode 3. Trust me, get to episode 3. And I got to episode 3, and I'm like, all right. And I got episode 4, I'm like, okay. And then 5, I'm like, all right, here we are. So, that is kind of saving me with them. But I still say, personally, cancel Disney Plus because I don't like what they're doing. I don't like how they're treating their talent. I don't like how these big companies think they can force people in their own opinions what they do in their own time. What you do on your own time, unless you're murdering somebody or something like that, it's on your time. It's got nothing to do with your job. And when a company comes back and starts forcing you or firing you because something you did in your own personal time, that's your personal beliefs, that's got nothing to do with your job, I have a problem with that. I do. And Disney is becoming too big for its own bridges. They own Disney. They own 20th Century Fox. They own Lucasfilm. They own other things too. They are too big. And I can't believe that the government is allowing this company to get that big and have this kind of control over the media and not have a problem with that. I'm sorry. You broke up the telephone company back in the day just for Verizon to come in and become just as big, if not bigger, than they were before. You have companies like Microsoft that, honestly, they don't make a very good operating system, but we're locked into it. I'm still going to try and make the jump over to Linux just because I can't stand Windows and the garbagey operating system that they put out there. We all should just go to Amiga. Bring the Amiga back, Amiga OS back, and everyone will be happy and fine. Trust me, Amiga was the way to go back in the day. The Mandalorian did save it. And now they're firing everyone from The Mandalorian. What are they going to have left? What is season 2 going to have in there? These spin-off shows, what are they going to have? I don't know. I don't know. Kathleen Kennedy was not supposed to have any finger in The Mandalorian. And yet she was able to fire somebody. And maybe I had a rumor of a second person being fired. I don't want to say, but we'll have to find out. But she should not be having that kind of power over in there. Mr. Chatterwitz was in here. Am I gonna watch Falcon and Winter Soldier? No, I'm gonna watch that show. There's lots of ways to watch things, if you know what I'm saying. But that show, from what I understand, that the Falcon and Winter Soldier might be a PG-13 or an R-rated show. So I don't know. That has some interesting possibilities if that's the case. Yeah. Let's see what we got coming over here. Jon Favreau, I hope he can. I've been told that his hands were tied and he can't do anything. But, her contract is supposed to be up this year. So if she gets if Kathleen Kennedy gets her contract renewed in 2021, I'm telling you right now, I'll be done with Disney. I will definitely be done with Disney. I won't watch any of their shows. I'll find other things to watch. I don't care what they come out with. I won't. Because she is not the right person for that job. There's plenty of other people at Lucasfilm that would do justice to everything. There is. She should not be there. And George, shame on him for not seeing the snake that she was, for handing over the keys to the company to her, who she promised him that she would treat his legacy and characters with respect. And she's done 100% the opposite on all of them. All of them. I'm sorry. And let me tell you something else. The Force is not male. The Force is not female. It's the Force. Okay? It doesn't know male. It doesn't know female. There's races, even on this earth, that's not male or female. They're both or neither. Okay? The Force doesn't have a gender, you stupid lady. It drives me nuts. I need another drink. Hold on. Okay, what else we got over here? Adam, buddy, thank you for coming in, man. And thank you for agreeing with me on that one. I do appreciate it. Disney, just writing something here, between Disney, Amazon, Walmart, Google, and Apple, they're basically controlling our lives. You know what? They are. They are, absolutely. You have these big companies. That's the one good thing, I guess, that we had in the 70s was there was no online. There was no internet. There was information on you. Trust me, the government had information on you regardless. But it's not like it is now. I mean, it's pretty sad. And what's worse, The worst part is that these companies can manipulate the truth and then people believe it. Look at the Rotten Tomatoes website. Look at what they score for, like, the Batwoman, the new Batwoman episode. Let's talk about that in the WB Batwoman. That is abysmal. Actually, I probably watched episode 7, 8, 9 before I watched Batwoman. So that's how bad that show is. And Rotten Tomatoes scores like 86. Fresh. And everyone's putting them down like a 3. Stinky. So, and then they'll block people from putting bad. They'll manipulate the data. So these companies obviously are in it for their own pockets. They're companies, I get it. But they're manipulating people. So, people are like, maybe that Batwoman's not too bad. Look, they give me 86. Maybe these other people don't know what they're talking about with this 13. I don't know. No. And that's the worst part of this all. And we, as individuals, we have families. We need jobs. What are you going to do? You have to go along like a lemming. And Lemmings was a great game from the Amiga, once again. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Now, let's not talk about Batwoman. Yeah, I am going to need another drink on Batwoman. Oh, my God. Season 1 was horrible enough. Season 2, all right. Now I'm doing it to myself. Okay, so Bruce Wayne leaves saying, I'm done. Okay, I give up. Never would happen, number one. He gives up. So his cousin steps in, who's like 13 pounds wet. Has the greatest line ever. The guy says, this suit is perfect. It will be when it's on a woman. Really? You're 13 pounds fighting 300-pound 5 or 6 men. Really? And then in season 2, she mysteriously dies in an airplane crash or whatever. And the bat suit just falls on the ground. A woman picks it up. It fits her off the bat. I feel powerful. It's just a suit. There's no power in the suit. Bruce Wayne trained for years in karate and learning and studying. I didn't live in a trailer park, find a suit like Greatest American Hero. Another good show, by the way. Greatest American Hero on Channel 7. That suit gave you powers. The bat suit does not give you powers. So that right there. And then you can outrun the Batmobile on foot? Like a 1972 Volkswagen Bug van can outrun the Batmobile? Come on, people. I need another drink now. You were right. That was it's just that these shows come out like we're all idiots. Idiots. The writers putting this stuff out think we're the stupidest people in the world, and if we don't like it, it's us. It's us. I can run out the Batmobile with a rocket exhaust on it on foot. It's me. I'm sorry. That's a great story. You're right. You know what? Even the $6 million man and the Bionic Woman could run 60, 65 miles per hour. They could not outrun the Batmobile. The Flash? Superman? All right. Maybe those two, yeah. They definitely can outrun the Batmobile. They can. But even with Bionics, you could not outrun the Batmobile, let alone some dude on foot. Sorry. I know I went down the rabbit hole. I tried not to, but I had to say it. I am sorry. Yeah, that's Qualcomm. Yeah, that's the other thing too. A lot of people don't realize that Shazam is Captain Marvel, and Captain Marvel is Shazam. And then there was a whole thing where it got sold off, and DC and Marvel both claimed that they had rights to it. And the only way to settle it was DC said, okay, we'll take what he says, Shazam, and we'll call our guy Shazam, and we'll take Captain Marvel and make it Captain Marvel. And they ruined the character. So for me, Captain Marvel is Shazam. Shazam is Captain Marvel. And I also have to say this as well. Technically, Superman kind of beats up Shazam, Captain Marvel, a little too easily. Superman, we all know, is overpowered. We get it. But he's always been susceptible to kryptonite and magic. Shazam is magic. So I can see them having a complete deadlock. Neither could beat the other. But pretty much every time Superman beats Shazam, and I'm calling bullshit on that as well, because Shazam should be very well at equaling anything Superman could throw at him, because he's magic. Okay? Threw that out there too. The CW. Oh no! Oh, you're pulling me back in. He's pulling me back in. Crumb is pulling me back into the WB shows. They are all crap. You know what? And I'm going to tell you something else. I got excited when they were doing the DC. I forgot what it was called, but it was basically the convergence of all the different worlds. I forgot what DC called it. If anyone knows in the comments, it was last year. They were having the multiple worlds of DC come on the shows. They had Superman from the movies coming on and TV show. They had the Flash from the movie coming in. I was like, oh my God, you know what? I haven't been watching these shows, but I got to watch this. This is going to be something epic. And I watched like the first one of them and I turned it off. I'm like, what is this garbage? Garbage. I couldn't stomach it. I could not stomach it. But I don't remember what that was called with the DC when all the different realities kind of collided and they had to join forces and all that stuff. So if you know what that was called, I'd appreciate you telling, because it's going to drive me nuts tonight what that was. Yeah, the WB, it's the writers. I can't even say the network. The network's part of it. But they are absolutely awful. What do you think of the new Batman movie coming out? Well, I have some high hopes. You know what the thing is, though? I like Batman. I'm Batman. I mean, I'm going to admit, DC animated, I don't know if you guys watch any of that stuff. I'm a child when it comes to this. But the animated DC movies are phenomenal. Fantastic. Loved everything. And they have a ton of Batmans in there. They're great. But I'm not saying I'm getting tired of Batman, but stop rebooting stuff. Come up with something new. I would like to see just the Snyder Cut. I have some hope. I have a little bit of hope that the Snyder Cut might save that movie. Wonder Woman 1984 was... The first Wonder Woman was okay. It was okay. It's like, okay, no, it's pretty good. Wonder Woman 1984 was abysmal. I know a lot of people hated the Green Lantern movie. It's watchable. It's watchable. Deadpool. I know Deadpool is really Marvel per se, but that was fun. It was great. So I have a little hope that the Snyder Cut might save that film, because Batman versus Superman. Martha! Where'd you hear that name? Really? You were about to kill this guy, and because he says your mom's name, you're his best pal? Who writes this stuff? Who writes this stuff? And they spend millions of dollars on these scripts. Martha! Save Martha! Where'd you hear that name? Oh, okay. You know what? You're my buddy. That's my mom's name. We're cool. Get the hell out of here. Come on. Horrible. Horrible. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free. Flying away, a wing and a prayer. Who can it be? Believe it or not, it's just me. Greatest American Hero. Good show. Good show. What do we got here? Batman Year 1, Year 2? Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Zero Hero. I wasn't going to say it, but you brought it up. I'm going to talk about it. There was an animated film called Batman. It was a two-part thing. Batman Year 1, Batman Year 2. And they had an epic. I mean, Superman... I don't want to give it away if you haven't seen it, but that's what I was expecting Batman v Superman to be. So if you have not seen that movie, watch it, because that fight scene between Superman and Batman was friggin' epic. That's what it should have been, and that is why the DC animated films are great. That was fantastic. I don't want to give it away what it was if you did not see it. I definitely say go out, get it, and watch it. It's about 4 hours. It's like 2 hour first part, and we had to wait. Zero Hero will tell you, the first part came out, and wait like a year and a half, 2 years for the second part to come out. But, man, that movie was good between Batman and the Joker. There was a whole big thing in that one in there. And then when Superman and Batman had to throw down, that's what it should have been. And that's why it was a huge, well, the whole movie was a disappointment, Batman v Superman. But that fight scene was just, it's like Ray saying, Ray Skywalker. You're not a Skywalker. You're damn Palpatine, and you can't steal a guy's name like that. Oh, my God. My God, my God. Oh, Justice League Dark. Yeah, okay. That was the last. That was the last of the new 52 Justice League. The Justice League Dark. It was. It was. I thought it was excellent. I really do think it was excellent, and I think it was a great way to wrap up that series that started off with the Flashpoint Paradox. All the film between Flashpoint Paradox animated and Dark, all those movies were intertwined in there, and I thought they did a really good job with it. And again, it's so disappointing when you see the movies that you can't get the animated writers to write the real person scripts, because those are the animated ones are great. And you watch these movies and you're just like, what the hell? Who? I can write a script on a napkin. Actually, I can write it on my toilet paper right now better. Pay me $5 million. I gave you a script that don't stink. Get it? Toilet paper don't stink? Well, it probably does stink, but whatever. The Killing Joke. Batman The Killing Joke, torn on that one. Because it wasn't exactly like the comic, but it wasn't bad. Again, I can't say anything bad about any of the animated ones. All of them I've definitely watched numerous times. Like Justice League versus Teen Titans was good, or Apocalypse ones were good. I can't. If you have not seen any of the DC animated movies, I definitely suggest you do so, because I can't say any of them were bad. The Wonder Woman one was good. Even Aquaman, and I'm sorry. I know they're trying to make Aquaman to be something big now, but back then, he's the guy who talked to fish. That was Aquaman. Okay, give me some shrimp. Put them in my cup. That's Aquaman. So I appreciate them trying to make him a little more tough. But he's almost as strong as like Wonder Woman and Superman. And I'm sorry. Swimming underwater for your life and growing up underwater does not make you that strong. I'm sorry. I know he's got the trident. Okay, there's maybe some magic with the trident, I suppose. But it's just, for me, it's not that big a thing for me. Yeah, Zero Heroes again. Any of the Apocalypse movies in the animated were great. And even in the Justice League, on Cartoon Network, Superman and Apocalypse and Justice League, those were great films as well. Apocalypse, I didn't know this. I don't know if you guys know this either, but the body of Apocalypse that you guys see is not all of him, according to lore. He's actually a multi-dimensional creature, and only a certain amount of his being could be in our reality, and that's what fights Superman. He's already almost as strong or stronger. It's kind of hard to tell with them. But if he was to pick Superman to his dimension, Superman would not have a chance. In fact, they did a thing on, what was that YouTube channel? Death Battle, where they took Thanos with the gauntlet, the Infinity Stones, and he fought Apocalypse. And they were obviously fairly close, but then I think Thanos was taking the bigger beating in our universe. But then Apocalypse retreated to his, and Thanos used the gems to go to his. And as soon as he went there, he was done. Reason being, because the Infinity Stones only work in our universe. They don't work in Apocalypse's universe, number one. But number two, their Apocalypse is infinitely more powerful. Sort of like the Juggernaut, with his gem that comes from that I forgot his name, Cynarak, right? Cynarak? In his dimension, his power is crazy, insane. So yeah, that's it too. Yeah, the Teen Titans were pretty good, and Damian, Batman's it's his full son, but he was man raped. It was kind of weird. Batman was kind of drugged and had Damian against his will. But in any case, yeah, Damian was pretty good there too. Oh, even my son, Cole. Cole was in the chat. Cole, thank you. What did Cole say? I missed it. It went by so quick. His chat went by. I didn't see where it went. Without giving any, here it is. Cole. Cole's asking me, without giving any spoilers, what do you think about WandaVision so far? Well, Cole, if you joined my stream when it started, except playing Minecraft, and you would know, I did talk about WandaVision already, and I said basically that episode 1 and 2 were mind-numbingly torturous. Each half hour felt like it was 3 hours long. But once you got past those two incredibly torturous episodes, it's really good now. But like I said, I am still, my fingers on the trigger at getting away from Disney Plus if they continue along the dark, sinister path that Disney is gone down, and Lucasfilm. What do we got going on here? Oh, it's okay, Cole. Next time you can join me on a stream, Cole. We are having some very good conversations here with everybody. What else we got going on here? Damien makes Apocalypse. Yes. Yeah, I don't want to give anything away on those anime in case people didn't see it, Zero Hero, but I definitely would tell you guys, you would not be disappointed watching those. And, Marvel made some animated ones too. They did. But honestly, if I was to choose between the DC animated or the Marvel animated, I would go with the DC animated. But if we're going with the movies, there's no question. It's Marvel. DC is horrid. Absolutely horrid. What do I think about Superman vs. Elite? Again, another DC animated. I liked it. The one thing that gets me, though, is they keep changing Superman's look. Every movie, they change how Batman kind of looks and Superman. I'd rather be more contiguous on the style. I thought that actually his jaw, I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie Heavy Metal, but there was a guy in there, his jaw was like out to here. I felt like Superman's jaw was like, 5 feet in front of him as he walked. But it was very good. It was very, very good. And I like how it ended as well. Let's see here. Okay, we're gonna go till 9 p.m. So I'm gonna be on another 7 minutes. So we'll see how much more we can cram in and how many more rants I can have in 7 minutes. Here, what do we got going on here? The DC movie universe is a complete mess. It's a total mess because Marvel thought it out properly and did it, and DC tried to catch up. They shouldn't have did that. They said, okay, Marvel thought this thing out. Let's think ours out, and we'll start ours here, and we'll get there. Instead, they tried to cram everything and catch up, and it was an absolute train wreck, a total train wreck. And that's why I'm hoping the Snyder Cut can kind of save something here, because the movie that was out beforehand was horrid. It was, again, painful to watch. Long, boring parts. I mean, a movie like the Marvel films. Like I watched like Infinity War for like the umpteenth time. Something's always going on. If I'm watching Winter Soldier, something's always going on. All the Marvel movies, you're not sitting there going, my God, let's get to the next part. It's always a good scene coming. And the DC one, it's just like, I don't care. It's so bad. It's just so bad. What do I think of the Real Ghostbusters cartoon series? First of all, I was suckered originally because I think Ghostbusters first came out on Fox, and it was based off of the old TV show that had the original name with the monkey and the two guys in the car that talked. And, I watched that torturously. But there's no question that the Real Ghostbusters, it was on Channel 7 ABC here when I was growing up, was excellent. It was fantastic. It was great. Great animation. The stories were good. Just like Ghostbusters 1. Ghostbusters 2, I'm going to admit, I didn't really care for. It was kind of painful. And the reboot, which I can't even call it that, I didn't even look anything more than the cover of the screenshot. I never saw the movie. I will never see the movie. That's what gets me about these companies. If you're going to reboot something, you need to treat the property with respect. If you're not going to treat the property with respect, come up with something totally different and then do that, right? If you're going to take a movie like Star Wars or Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, or anything and re-image it, you got to do it respectfully. Because no matter what you think, unless you're doing it in 400 years and we're all dead, we're the guys taking our kids or going ourselves to see the movie because we're the fan of it. So when you basically shit on our classic films or our classic games or anything like that, it's going to fail. And I have no problem telling you that, and I won't spend the money on it. Because that's what pisses me off the most is when you take something of an existing property and we're going to re-image it and we're going to subvert expectations. No, that's not what it is. When I go to see a Star Wars film, I'm expecting a Star Wars film. Star Trek's another one. I might as well end my rant on Star Trek. That's another one. The movies from 2009 on, the 2009 film was kind of okay, but you know what? The TV shows and that are horrible. First of all, Captain Kirk is Captain Kirk, all right? He is Kirk. Every crew member, Uhura to everyone else, talks to him like he's a garbage scow captain, okay? That would never happen. And the fact that they do already shows they have no respect for the property. Star Trek Discovery, what the hell is that mess? What is it? Star Trek Picard? I was like, all right, Patrick Stewart's back. They're finally going to do it right. What the hell was that show of Patrick Stewart in? 7 of 9. What the hell do they do to these characters? It's like they take these things, we're subverting expectations. They're going to love it. You don't love it? There's something wrong with you. You don't like women. First of all, I love women. I like strong characters. Absolutely do. I love Ahsoka Tano. I love Ripley. I love a good character, whether it's male or female. If you make a bad character, a bad script, and completely unrealistic expectations of a 40-pound woman beating the crap out of 15 300-pound bodybuilders, yeah, I'm going to call bullshit on it. I'm not going to like it. I'm sorry. And I'm going to tell my friends the same thing. Try and be a little realistic. Put her 40-pound body in a mech armor suit. All right. Now she's got a mech armor suit. I can see her beating the crap out of a guy. Okay. I mean, am I wrong here, guys? Put ones if I'm right and zeros if I'm wrong. I like to see it. Maybe I'm the one who's totally wrong here. Ones for Glenn, we agree. Or zeros. No, Glenn, you're insane. We could put that in there and see what people have to say about it. Right, zero hero, or make it a different character entirely. I agree. Oh, I'm getting some ones. That's good. 3 ones is good, right? Three ones is a win, right? See, I'm getting all ones. So at least I know I'm not the crazy one. So I do appreciate that. Again, I have no problem. Like, perfect example would also be Black Widow. Okay? I can actually see her taking on a large guy because she's been training her whole life. All these special moves. I can see her taking on a guy. She comes around, grabs him by the neck, does all these things. I can see that. Rey Skywalker was living in the desert. Never knew about the Force. Never touched a lightsaber. Kylo Ren, training his whole life with Luke. With a lightsaber. She picks up a lightsaber. She bests him. What the hell was that? She meets Luke Skywalker. Possibly the greatest Jedi outside of, Yoda. Right? Fantastic guy. Knows everything. Rey bests him. What? And not to take anything from Leia, because I love Leia. I love Leia in Star Wars. But again, in the dream sequence, or whatever it was, when she was fighting Luke, she knocked him on the ground like he was a pissant. I'm sorry. I cannot buy that. I can't. Leia, her character may have grown over the years. I get it. But you still would not have bested Luke. I'm sorry. That's just me. Oh, Kongs R Us gave me a 0. Oh my God. Kongs! Tell your wife to go in the other room. Just tell her to go in the other room. We know it's a 1. I know it's a 1. It's okay. It's okay. We're good. We're good. Amazo or Ultron? Okay, so for me, believe it or not, I didn't know about the character, and I saw the character, the Amazo, first in Justice League. I didn't know about Ultron in the comics. So I personally liked them. I liked them both. Actually, I was just watching, matter of fact, the animated Marvel with the Ultron from there. The movie Ultron I didn't really care for as much because I did see it first in the animated show. But Amazo I did like, and I kind of like the arc they did with Grundy. I don't know if you guys saw the one where Grundy came back. I know he's already dead, but he came back from the dead. And the Amazo couldn't even stop him. So I did like all that. The animated series Ultron, I loved it. And he was made by Ant-Man. I didn't really care for it being made by Tony and the Hulk, Bruce Banner. So I didn't really care for that. It was okay, but if I had to pick the movie version of that and the animated Amazo, I'll take Amazo. If it was animated, it's a draw for me. I thought they were both pretty damn good. That's it on that one. Let's see here. Okay, I think we're at 9 o'clock, fellas. So what I'm going to do is, this rant went on awfully long, which is good. But I will do it again, I promise. I'll have plenty more rants for you guys. But I will see you guys tomorrow night on the Retro Buzz at 6 p.m. So I want to say thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'm hoping that I'll see you guys again. But remember, have a great night. And remember, everyone, to game on and have a great night. Boop. Catch you later.
Glen at the Tiny Arcade fan page. Remember, don't admire people too much. They'll disappoint you.
Sit, Blue Blue, sit. Good dog.